Hi, Jane. How are you?
Hi, Sally. It's really good to see you.
Good to see you too. We've been working together. It'll be 3 years since I've been with the Epilepsy Foundation, and I wanted to bring a different aspect of learning about sudden unexpected death in epilepsy, or SUDEP, to our community. And you're from the UK, and I think the important thing to talk about here is that SUDEP is a worldwide issue. And before I get into it, you have done such a great job with advocacy with SUDEP. So I guess I would just love if you could introduce yourself and just tell me a little bit more about you, what brought you to the SUDEP space, and what you do in the UK that really makes our relationship unique and special, but also for the world to know about.
Well, thank you, Sally. Well, my name is Jane Hanna. I'm based at SUDEP Action in Oxford, in England. And I was drawn to this area many years ago when my first partner, who was called Alan, he was a young lawyer, and he died suddenly one night. And at that time, like all the families that you're in touch with and we're in touch with, it was absolutely devastating. And I found that nobody around me really seemed to know anything about it, which of course is still the experience for too many people today. But I came into the field really because of that, to find out answers really. And I joined with, I happened to be very lucky, and I met five women. So as five women, we sort of got together around a table, and which we could then. There was no pandemic, and
Right.
we were able to sort of be physically together, and we were actually lived many hundreds of miles apart, but we came together, and we just said, we're going to do something about this, and we will just journey together on that. And that was really the start of the organisation in the UK of SUDEP Action. And what we do today is, I have a team here now, and the team sort of includes counsellors and caseworkers for families that suffer a sudden death, so that we can help families get answers quickly where we can, and can help them go through that very difficult process in the days after a sudden death. And we have some researchers and sort of policy staff, and we've tried to sort of get as much knowledge as we can together and make that available as easily as possible for people here, so that they can be enabled to make choices in their lives, really, at a time when, you know, there is still scientific uncertainty, but we do know quite a bit now, really, and that is very useful for people now to be able to make choices about their lives and how to reduce risk. So yeah, that's what we do.
Wow, absolutely awesome. I wanted to go back and ask you, how old was your partner when he passed away? And did he know about SUDEP? Did you know about SUDEP?
Alan was 27, and we both had no idea really about SUDEP, because at that time there was no recognized definition of sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. So there was no word to describe actually what happened to him. So he wasn't aware. Neither of us were aware. I think we both felt that it was a risky thing, epilepsy, because he did have, and in his lifetime, he had 4 generalized tonic-clonic seizures, mostly at night. So he only had 4, but we knew when he had them, it felt like an emergency. So I suppose we were aware that this was a really acute thing that was happening, but we didn't get any sense in the world that there was such a thing as sort of epilepsy risk or SUDEP. So we were reassured, I think, that actually this was a condition that we didn't really need to worry too much about.
You know, I'm so sorry that you took your loss. I mean, this huge loss in your life, and first, I'm sorry for the loss in your life. That is something that I think we've talked about that carries with you. It's with you for the rest of your life. This humongous loss. It's something that never leaves you. You move forward, but there's always these hard parts within the journey. So I'm sorry that you lost, but I'm also glad that you are someone that took that loss and made a difference in this world by starting and collaborating with other women on SUDEP Action out of the UK, because it has been a tremendous asset to the world as far as what you do. So thank you for doing that, which leads me to my next question, or our conversation here is SUDEP Action Day is October 23rd. And as I always tell people that I partner with here in the US and our Epilepsy Foundation chapters across the country and affiliates, I always say we always follow suit with what SUDEP Action, their messaging for SUDEP Action Day, because it was a day that you really developed and originated from you. And with that said, let's talk about this year's SUDEP Action Day theme. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about it? I don't want to spoil it, but tell us a little bit more about it, because I really love the messaging. I love how it's pivoted to be a positive thing. So tell us what made you think of October 23rd for SUDEP Action Day, and tell us about this year's theme.
23rd of October was chosen sort of 5 years ago as really a time in the calendar which worked for us actually in the UK, because we have the Purple Day sort of back in March. So we felt we wanted something sort of in the autumn, and so that's why that date was chosen. And it has turned out to be a date which around the world people have been able to work with, and I'm really pleased about that, because I do appreciate it's a very busy time in America sort of during October, but it has worked. And for this year our theme is Speak Up to Save Lives. The reason why we chose that was that during a pandemic, it seems to us that it's even more important that we have a message of hope and we have a message of togetherness, that we speak up together to save lives. And the families over here in the UK, what they always say when we come together is, if we could just save one life this year, if we could save one life next week, how valuable would that be? So although we don't have all the answers, we do have knowledge about risk in epilepsy, and we can do things, and people can take positive steps. And a lot of, again, the families say, well, we don't know for sure that if that had happened, that our loved one would have been alive here today. We can never, ever know that. But actually where our families take hope is that the knowledge that if we can only share these positive messages, that maybe that will help another family and someone with epilepsy. Because I think you will agree, won't you, Sally, that the one thing we all want is that actually we don't want families to to live with the pain of SUDEP for a lifelong. You know, we
Oh,
want families to have a really happy and full life, and that's what motivates us, isn't it?
absolutely. And speaking up to save lives means speaking up with your physician, right? I mean, speaking up to say, I have epilepsy and I know this is a uncomfortable, tough topic, but I need to know more. I need to know how to reduce my risks so that I can stay alive and be healthy and live my best life. I love the messaging. I absolutely love it. And it's something we at the Epilepsy Foundation SUDEP Institute have pivoted towards. Is it's no more like, well, we don't want people to die. It's let's talk about it to live. Let's talk about it to have our best life. So I really love, it's the hashtag speak up with the number 2 to save lives. And then obviously we use the hashtag SUDEP Action Day 2020. So I really, for anyone listening, encourage you to use those 2 hashtags and send out a message, whether you're living with epilepsy or whether you have someone you've lost. But you're right, Jane, we don't want any more people living in our shoes, right? There are some people that have lost and are frozen, that they just cannot move on or move forward. I should say you never move on, but it's hard for them to move forward, and that's okay. There's people like us with our voices and our experience to really make a difference, but I don't want anyone living with this grief on a day-to-day basis. No one.
No, and we sort of know, we know from you know, working with bereaved families that, you know, I mean, everybody uses their props that they have. People develop strategies. You know, people do live again. I mean, they do live again, but obviously people also experience crises, and people during a pandemic, it's been really, really hard. And so I think, you know, by connecting together and actually recognizing where we are, we're all on the same, we are on a similar path, and that by being together, we can be hopeful together, you know, even when people are living in pain.
Absolutely. Well, Jane, I am so thankful. We enjoy collaborating with SUDEP Action. You've done some really great things in the UK to bring awareness and education. Before we close this conversation, I just want to ask you, what are some of the things that you're most proud of that you've done in the UK and I know I'm putting you on the spot with this one, but what are some of the things you're most proud of that you've done in the UK to really bring that awareness and education around SUDEP? I know our climates are different, you know, our news media, economic, things are a little bit different than the US. And, but I'm just, you know, curious, because I know we like collaborating with you because we like hearing some of your best practices and things that have worked for you to see if we can replicate here in the US. But I don't know, 1 or 2 things, if you have anything.
1 or 2 things.
Yeah. I know you've done a lot. You have done a lot, amazing things. So, and I think it could probably be considered in one of those, right?
I think people using standard messaging is really, really important, because when we started, and for decades, there was actually a lot of myths around SUDEP, and I think that there's enough people in the world now that actually, you know we can prove SUDEP exists. You know, we have good evidence now, which we can improve on, but we do have good evidence now about the main risk factors sort of SUDEP. And I suppose what I'm proud of in the UK is that we have developed support tools which have worked over here, which have been proved to reduce risk. And, you know, so being able to be alongside clinicians who may not be up to speed with the latest research and knowledge. Certainly the primary care professionals in the community may not be up to date. And being able to bring knowledge to the fingertips, I think, of clinicians is really important. And also that families also can just get that information, which is relevant to them, to that person with epilepsy, because everybody with epilepsy is different. So we have to understand people's personal risk. And so I'm quite proud of the work we've done on that. But most important of all, I think it is that as a team, we are able to be alongside the families who've suffered a SUDEP, and that we can help them get through some appalling difficulties after a death. I mean, I'm sure it's the same in, it'll be different, but there'll be similar challenges in the US for your bereaved families. And the fact that the SUDEP Institute exists and SUDEP Action exists actually means that when people are in trauma, they've actually got somewhere they can go. And I think
Absolutely.
that's really important.
Absolutely. Kind of piggybacking on what you said, I have a flyer that's called SUDEP Knowledge is Power, and it has all the questions that someone can ask their physician to go to. If their physician's not talking about it, it's a list of questions about all about what questions to ask to reduce that risk and to know more about SUDEP and get those answers from your physician. And as you know, the US is so massive. We are constantly working to educate our physicians, whether they be neurologists, epileptologists, or even primary care. And I know you and I have talked about this too, which is different between us, is, our medical examiners and coroners, them being aware of it so that they can investigate it when there is an unexpected, unexplained death too. So many audiences to really tackle for both of us to educate. But I agree with you. The bereaved are really, really important to take care of and make sure that they can move forward in a way that they have that support and that they know they're not alone. And that is something we do for not only those that have died from SUDEP, but also drownings and accidents and other types of things that have happened in regards with epilepsy, because those folks are also not alone either.
No, absolutely. And, it's about all epilepsy deaths from
Absolutely.
whatever cause at all. And the importance, I think, of inclusion really across the epilepsy agenda, because that is actually something which I think epilepsy suffered for. It has suffered for that the world has not fully embraced sort of epilepsy in years gone by. And I think, the work of all the sector, great work of Epilepsy Foundation, the SUDEP Institute, work that we do in the UK with our partners here, is addressing all that, because people have a voice. We'll make sure that these things don't stay in the shadows, that we bring them out and that people have got hope.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jane. And thank you for your organization's efforts with creating SUDEP Action Day and sharing the message with us so that we can put it out there as well and spread awareness around the world. I wanted to interview you because, again, this is not just something that happens in the United States. It is a worldwide situation that we're in to learn about SUDEP and to end SUDEP, right? And I'm so thankful that we have such a good relationship and that we can partner and talk and include you in work and vice versa. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing in the UK for so many and leading the way. And I'm just so appreciative of all your efforts. And thank you for, again, that SUDEP Action Day message, speak up to save lives. I think it's going to continue to move mountains, especially here in the US as we cascade it through social media and other means. So thank you so much for your time today too. I always, again, love speaking with you and appreciate all you do.
Oh, well, thank you, Sally, for everything that you're doing, and the support and the working and partnership together, particularly on this day, is, I think, just wonderful for the world, actually, because we won't overcome these global challenges unless we connect and we work together, and we show we can do that even in a pandemic.
Yes, absolutely.
Even in the midst of a crisis.
I always say it's important to collaborate. I don't think one person and one entity is going to solve this. I think it's going to be together. We can, we're better together. So I'm so thankful for you. So, well, I want to let you go. I know it's evening time there in the UK. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your organization's effort and everyone that works within it and what they do. And we'll continue to partner and collaborate as we move forward until we're both out of a job, right? Because we've ended.
Yeah, soon, I hope, soon.
Exactly. Thank you again, Jane.
Hey, Angela, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm so pleased to have you to talk to you about SUDEP, not just in the United States, but around the world. And we're going to talk a little bit more where you're located. But Angela, you created a public service announcement video for SUDEP. And I really want to dive into that a little bit and learn more about you, first of all. And then we're going to just talk a little bit more about the video that you created. And I'd love to show it if that's possible. So let's just start out. Why don't you tell me your name and where you're from? And if you want to tell me a little bit about your education background and things like that, that would be great. I'm so glad you're here with us, and I'm so glad you're going to be sharing with so many individuals living with epilepsy, individuals who maybe know about SUDEP or don't know about SUDEP. But I think the premise behind our whole conversation today is that SUDEP is a concern not just in the United States, not just in some countries, but really all over the world, which I love what you've done, and that's why I really want to showcase it and let others see the wonderful work that you put together to bring awareness. So again, sorry, I just get excited. So go ahead and tell me your name and where you're from.
Thank you, Sally. I'm Angela. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. I finished high school last year. I'm waiting for my uni application and everything. So basically, I started volunteering with the Epilepsy Foundation in June of this year. And it was just something that I felt was truly what I wanted to do. I felt like it was good to give back, especially in like where I live. People with epilepsy here are so stigmatized and they're just thrown under the rug. And I just felt like it was something I felt I could do to at least raise some awareness where I come from. And it's also something I've been doing research on, just having that curiosity and that interest in learning about the needs of people who have it and wanting to understand their struggles, wanting to understand how it is you can help them, wanting to understand like what exactly is this that causes what they go through and all. And I just felt like making this this video was so important to raise awareness. SUDEP is so unheard of, it's something that I personally have not known about it for a long time. I just thought, why not? And there's a mutual friend of mine who recently lost their brother, and it's highly speculated that it was SUDEP because he died very unexpectedly. It was around mid this year. They found him face flat on the ground. He wasn't breathing and all. And it's so unfortunate that even when they learned about his passing, they didn't even know exactly what it was. And through something like this, like people will be able to learn, they'll be able to take precaution, they'll be able to take precaution, they'll be able to learn more about it, they'll be able to be more aware. And yeah, that's why I just felt like it was very important to do. Yes.
So Angela, this is great, and I want to dive into that a little bit more about a couple of things. But first, I want to ask you about the stigmatism, like it's stigmatized in your country. What can you tell me a little bit more about that? Is it that people don't know about it, or do they feel it's a disease people should stay away from. Tell me a little bit more of that that comment you made, and what are the thoughts there? I know in the US, people are aware of epilepsy, and I think many think, oh, you take a medicine and you're better. Some they don't know that sometimes medicines don't help. And a large majority of the United States doesn't know that unfortunate epilepsy can be fatal and you can lose a life. So what is it like in Africa?
Okay, so as far as I've interacted with people, I would just say are generally not educated enough. Like if you like, I remember back in when I was in primary school, and I was curious. We were having just like a class discussion, and we were just told like, ask any question, feel free to be to ask whatever questions you have. And I remember there's a student who asked the teacher, what causes epilepsy? Why do people have seizures? And the teacher couldn't respond to that. He was like, I can't get you on that. Just ask another time. And he was like, wow. And I remember from that young age, it just hit me like, wow, okay, so it's just something that just happens. From that time, I just came to like a kind of conclusion that it just happens. I was like, okay, it just happens, and it's unfortunate. And yeah, but then that's when I started doing more research about it. But I feel like people here in general, they don't have like a deep knowledge about it. They just think it's an illness that makes people fall and go unconscious for a few minutes and makes them like shake and everything. And they're not very aware about the types of seizures. They're not aware that not all seizures involve like actually like shaking and everything. They're not aware that they're like the absent seizures and everything. Also, some people also this is really messed up, but some people use it as a way to they tie it with spiritual things. Like if someone has a convulsion, it means that they're like possessed or something. So
I have heard that.
Yeah.
That there's that belief of the being possessed, and they don't have the knowledge that it is a neurological disorder. Right.
Exactly. So true. So it's like if someone like had a convulsion, it's like, you're possessed, get away from me, I don't to get possessed as well.
Right.
So there's that fear, there's like fear, and there's also ignorance. Yeah.
And so with that, with the lack of knowledge and the education and the belief that you just shared, I'm sure that you don't have a lot of seizure first aid training or awareness how to help someone with a seizure, that they need to help put them on their side and tend to them and not put anything in their mouth. I'm sure that's very much lacking too, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Even in very important like there's always like that precaution part, like if you're in a crowded place, you'll never know who could have it, so it's always good to have like people on standby. There's not anything like that really. There's a time I had gone to this concert, and someone there actually, it was like there were some students from a school who had come there, and one of the students had epilepsy, and he had a seizure there, and the teacher didn't really know what to do. So the teacher just like went and like put him outside to get air. Didn't really know what to do. So it's very obvious that seizure first aid is not known enough. People also have that crazy stereotype, that crazy misconception of you might swallow your tongue. So, it's just like, I feel like people just don't really understand the depth of first aid, the depth of the measures to take, which is unfortunate. So, yeah.
First of all, let me just say that I'm so sorry for the loss of your friend's brother. I lost my own daughter to epilepsy, and excuse me, 6 years ago, and it's hard every day walking this journey. It's hard every day knowing that you don't have that person in your life. So I'm so sorry, but I value people like you who didn't have this directly affecting them, and have stepped into this role to be a volunteer, and really start to educate and bring awareness. What made you think of doing a video? I mean, really, where did this come from, where you were thinking, wow, I'm going to do a video, and how would you like it to be played in, excuse me, in your country and around the world?
First of all, I'm truly sorry for your loss. I'm very, very sorry about that. The video idea, actually, I have one of my mom's friends actually works in production of videos and everything. So he makes, like advertisements and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, why not go big, And I consulted him and I was like, how about we do something that would reach out to masses? Because I was like, the social media is a huge way to get people's attention these days, videos, all that kind of stuff. And I felt, why not use television, why not use video? And it was actually based on the foundation, because we're supposed to do like monthly activities and all. So I thought for my I think it was July, my July activity to make the video. And I just thought, why not use something that will reach out to people more, considering the day and age we are in and all. So I thought, why not do something that would also be able to reach out to people in something they're not very familiar with, which is SUDEP, because it's actually a thing. It actually, I've seen it affect someone's family before. And I just thought, use it in a way that will be more accessible to people and do something that people will actually get awareness of, So we did the production, it went on very well. And I actually wanted to come up with the idea of broadcasting it. However, that was like too expensive. Broadcasting is really expensive and all. But we decided to do just like social media sharing. Like so far, I've shared it with a few of my friends here and there, and they have actually gotten like awareness. They have learned about it. They're like, wow, we did not know this. Thank you. And even the people I worked with to make this, they were not aware as well. So they actually learned as you were producing the video, which was really amazing.
Awesome. Great job. Thank you so much. I actually want to take the time so that whoever is viewing this conversation with you and I get to see the video. So we're just gonna switch over here and watch your amazing video. Okay, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play this for our viewers.
Many of us know what epilepsy is, but do we know what SUDEP is? SUDEP stands for the sudden unexpected death in epilepsy, and this is a condition which occurs when a person with epilepsy dies unexpectedly despite being in their usual state of health. SUDEP kills more than 1 out of 1,000 people with epilepsy annually. The risk of SUDEP is higher for an individual whose seizures are poorly controlled. Therefore, we need a solution so as to lower the number of seizures, so as to lower the risk of dying from SUDEP. These solutions include: 1. Identifying seizures triggers. These triggers can be such as light, stress, alcohol, sleep deprivation, and not taking medication as prescribed. 2. Consulting with the relevant neurological specialists on therapies and medications that are suitable for lowering the occurrence of seizures. So let's join together and spread awareness of this situation.
That is really amazing. You did such great work on that. I'm so impressed, and I'm so excited to have met you and meet somebody that, as you mentioned, epilepsy isn't well known for, you know, in your area and your country, I mean, I can only imagine SUDEP, no one knows about SUDEP at all. Obviously, as you know, SUDEP is a role that I have here with the Epilepsy Foundation, SUDEP Institute Director, and then I have my personal loss as well. So I am honored and really inspired by you and the fact that you have taken on this plight to educate people in your country as well as around the world. I actually have goosebumps because you don't meet many amazing, fascinating women like yourself who are taking this on and wanting to make a difference for others like myself, who have already lost, and people who are in fear of losing. So I, again, I'm so honored and so thankful that you took the time to meet with me and the work that you're doing out of your heart, just out of pure love and for others. So thank you so much. And if there's anything else you'd like to share with anyone that's watching, I would welcome you to do that, because again, just great work, great work.
Thank you so much. Thank you, truly. I honestly, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to have done this and to have gone so far. So in reality, I should be thanking you for the support and, you know, for enabling this to be a possibility, enabling the video to have come out. Truly, I'm truly grateful for everything. And, you know, for you to have taken this as an opportunity, not just, you know, to, you know, like you went through a really hard time, and I'm truly sorry for that. But like the fact that you went out of your way to help other people is so beautiful. The fact that you became a director for this, it is so selfless, you know, putting like other people, you know, not just thinking about like, wow, this is my loss, but being able to resonate with other people who are in your shoes is so brave, and I salute you for that. It's absolutely incredible. And to anyone who is watching and who suffers from epilepsy, you know, great things happen every day. Like, the most important thing is to stay hopeful and don't let the condition define your life, because that is not nearly, you're not your epilepsy, you're not your seizures, you are so much more than that. You're so much more than, you know, the condition you face. You're so much more than your struggles, you know. And great things happen. People get cured, people get recovery. You know, the great thing about the time we live in now is that there's so many advancements, there's so many cures, there's so many remedies. You know, it's not like back then. People are becoming better, you know, in terms of the research, in terms of the medicines. And I hope one day that we'll be able to come up with therapies and medications and all these that will help people. And to anyone who has gone through a loss like this, it's immeasurably painful, and I'm truly sorry. I'm truly sorry, and I hope that there will be some light in this dark situation. You know, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always, you know, every disadvantage has an advantage. It's not the end. Great things can come out of this. And I just thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is all I can say. Thank you, truly.
Oh, no, thank
Yes.
you. Again, it is wonderful people like you that are going out to make a difference for others, and you're not even personally affected. And it just is really very moving. And I appreciate you saying what you said about people living with epilepsy. I know for people like me who have lost and others who are living daily with the struggles of epilepsy, it is really hard to see the light. But I always encourage people, and I inspire them, or hopefully inspire them and empower them to live their best lives. I want them not to be in fear of SUDEP, but live their best lives and learn how to mitigate and reduce that risk. But again, thank you for bringing this awareness to everyone and helping me look at it in a different way too, because, you know, sometimes I get wrapped up here in the United States, and your video and your efforts really made me realize that we need to educate that this is a worldwide effort, and we're all partnering together, right? And together we can make a difference. And you are definitely making a difference. So thank you so much. Thank you. And keep making a difference in the lives of others. I wish I could give you a hug, because I'm proud. I'm so proud to know you and to have met you and to see the great work you're doing. I have no doubt once you get your application accepted in the university and you keep going on in life, you are going to do amazing things. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It was such an honor to finally meet you and to talk to you and to learn from you. It was an honor. Thank you so much. I'm truly grateful. Thank you for the well wishes. All the best with everything as you continue to, do what you're doing. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mhm.